For your virtual STEM fair experiment, you've chosen heredity. Now, you should have chosen an independent variable, meaning your environment and the changes to your environment, and a dependent variable, meaning the mutation of the trait that you're going to focus on and measure. For mine, I've chosen to look at teeth in a dry environment with a few different changes. Now, your teacher should have given you in your STEM fair packet or folder a page that has a data table, or perhaps you created your own data table. My data table looks like this, and I need to put a couple of labels in before we start. First of all, the variable being tested is the number of bunnies with long teeth. That's what I'm going to do. The units used are, I'm going to do a percentage. If I just do a number of bunnies, if I just count the bunnies, then I won't know how many there are compared to the rest of the population. So percent of population is going to be the unit that I'm going to use. My independent variable number 1 is no environmental changes. No environmental changes means that I'm not going to change the environment during this first experiment. During my second experiment, the other variable I've chosen, my other trial, is going to be tough food. And my last variable is going to be limited food. So now I have my labels for my data table. I'm going to go ahead and start my experiment. When I go back here, I'm going to click on teeth because that's what I'm going to be measuring. And I'm not going to make any environmental changes anytime until after the first generation in order to give my bunnies enough time to get going. So I'm going to add a mate. And when I do that, you can see time is starting. And when I hit the first generation here, we're going to get more baby bunnies that might have the trait. There it goes right there. If you'd like to speed it up, there's a button right here where you can click and it'll go faster. I'm going to wait for at least 4 generations. You can stop at 4 generations or you can keep going to more generations if you want, as long as you do the same number of generations every single time. So once I hit 4 generations right there, I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to look at proportions because proportions means the percent. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And of course, my variable I'm looking at is teeth. And at the start of this generation, which is generation 4, if you want to go back, you can look at earlier generations, but I'm doing it generation 4. You can see that I have 16% have teeth. So I'm going to go back to my data table and I'm going to put 16 in here. That is 16%. If you'd like to specify the percent, you can. You don't have to because you have it already up here that you've done that. But I'm going to leave 16 right there. Then for my next one, I'm going to do tough food. I'm going to come back. I'll click on the start over button right here. Again, I'm measuring teeth, so I'm pushing that. I'm going to add a mate so that time can start. Remember, I'm not going to change the environment at all until after the first generation. So let's wait for the first generation to go. There it goes. Now I'll click on my tough food. So now my food has changed. So we're changing the environment. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up past my 4th generation. There we've met the 4th generation, so I'm going to stop it and I will click on the proportions tab. And again, for teeth, I'm going to see, oh, look, now it's 83% of my rabbits have those long teeth. So I'll come back here and on tough food, 83% had those long teeth. Then I'll go back, I'll start over. I'll do it with limited food. And then after I've done all 3 of those, I'm going to go back and do it again for each one. And again for each one, because remember, you need 3 trials for every single test that you're doing. So you can go ahead and set in your own variables and fill in your own data table completely. Then you're going to do your totals and averages so that you can compare what the differences are.